Welcome to the Choose on Purpose podcast. This is our Wow series, our Wisdom of Women. And today we are talking to Miss Terry Ann Sayre. And we are in the theme of mindful momentum for the month of March currently. And I have an acronym because this is the conversation that we hold space in the community for work on purpose and purpose contributing members to join the conversation. And today I have Terry with me, and we're going to explore how mindfulness is really the secret ingredient, I believe, to creating real lasting momentum in our life, in our businesses, and using the MOVE framework. So keeping it shorter today, to just give some framework that will break down, 4 key kind of steps to staying present and amplifying clarity and taking intentional action toward our goals. So Terry, thank you for joining me today. I'm excited for you to share as well.
Oh, it's my pleasure. I always enjoy exploring our minds together.
Yes. Yes. And Terry is a lover of acronyms as well. So she generally will like make her own, feel it out for herself as well. So we'll see what unfolds here today for the MOVE acronym. So let's see. Momentum really starts with mindfulness, right? And that's why I was drawn to the theme of mindful momentum, because I think that the mindfulness really gets it going, right? Like it's about staying connected to the present while intentionally moving toward what we desire. And this framework is going to be some like actionable strategies that you can apply right now if you don't already. So this is to give you some juice to go through your day with. Okay, so the M is mindset reset. Okay. And this is all about aligning your thoughts with those desires. So before momentum can really take shape, I believe you need to check in with your mindset, right? Otherwise, we're just going. And then we need to think about, are our thoughts helping or hindering our progress? So the mindset reset is really to get back into alignment. So you know, Terry, what's your thought around mindset reset and getting aligned with your desires or your vision?
Yeah, I think when you said the word alignment in terms of resetting, I believe that to me that's really part of the foundation of being able to have momentum, is that it's in alignment with your values, with just I guess values is the word, but it's are you in alignment with for me, it's are you in alignment with whom you want to be, how you want to show up, how you want to feel, so it's important for me that my thoughts, my feelings, my actions and my words are aligned with how I want to show up, who I want to be, which is my values. And so I believe that that's really important in order to have a mindset that's going to move you. Otherwise, you're going to be in not in harmony. You're going to be like a chord that has a dissonant note in it, and it just doesn't sound right. It's that point of being aligned with whom you want to be. You're not always that person. I mean, because we're not perfect, but resetting your mindset is how you get to that place, right? Because we want to be on this trajectory. We have this trajectory that's in alignment with whom we want to be, but at times we get off of that, and so the reset is what brings us back into that trajectory that guides us to action. So I believe I really like that idea of mindset reset, because the reset is the part that brings us back to the integrity or the authenticity that allows us to move forward.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for that. I even think about, right, even the daily reset and how going to bed is like clearing the slate. And then, we get to wake up and reaffirm to ourselves in that reset to make sure that we know, how we're lining up, and starting our day with a mindful morning, like a check-in with ourselves, is so critical. And I know that you and I both have like non-negotiables and like
Yeah.
rituals and the things that we do every single day. And that's always been a huge part of. And I even had a friend ask me this week, how did you get to this point, Becky, like of consistency that she was seeing in me, and talking about my getting up early. And I was like, very clear, I was not labeled as a morning person my whole life until I decided I wanted to wake up with more intention. And that started with my mindset, resetting that to be able to get in alignment. And I love that you bring values into the conversation about that, Terry, and how that is like when we're aligning our all those things up. It is our values system. So a question that you can always ask yourself, right, is what's one thing I want to focus on today, or what limiting belief do I need to release this morning as I wake up and I'm like, oh, that's limiting. What do you need to release? Or how can I shift my mindset to support my momentum? Right? Because in the morning, we're kind of groggy, we're kind of allowing things to come in. And this is where that reset, I feel like, is just so critical to getting in alignment with our values and our vision. And so, Terry, do you have anything that you want to add about that?
Well, I was writing some notes, and I like the idea. I really like the idea of the reset and what you
Yeah.
just said about, I have morning routine. We call it non-negotiables a lot of times, things that
Mm-hmm.
I do every day. If I don't do one of those, well, because I choose not to, then my reset is less focused. So I believe I like with the word focus. I like the word shift. I like the word release. Those three words I wrote down because
Yeah.
I think those are really a part of the whole reset, and part of my morning routine is my morning prayer. And to me, that's a
Mm-hmm.
conversation with God. And so a lot of that is a part of my conversation that I have with him is my focus, for one thing, the quality I want to work on that day. The thing that I feel like I could have done better. How can I do better today? Which then is a release of yesterday and a reset on today, practicing that particular characteristic or value that I want to become more internalized. So I think first of all the word reset has really resonated with me, and then shifting, releasing, and focusing as a part of that reset makes it tangible and not too overwhelming. What am I
Mm-hmm.
going to focus on today? How is that going to shift my thinking, my speaking, my acting? And what can I release that's a block to that? So I like
Mm.
that a lot. I'm going to incorporate that
Love that.
thought when I have my conversation with my higher power.
I love that. Thank you for pulling those very actionable words out. I know that you're someone that focuses on action, and I love that that's what you heard. And another thing that I want to just say before we move on from the mindful mindset reset is that, another practical tip is really, if slash when negative thoughts might creep in, right? Reframing them with what if statements is something that has really supported me. Instead of I'll never get this thing done, right? Try shifting that to say, what if I take one small step today and see where it leads? It brings in curiosity, and like I just love that.
Yeah. I mean, reset and reframe are kind of synonymous, right?
Yep.
And so I added that word.
Yep. I love it.
Yeah.
That's what I love about acronyms, is that it really gives you the freedom to take structure for your own verbiage that aligns with your values, who you are, your experience, where you're at. Like it goes deeper for you as an individual when the word resonates with your soul.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
Absolutely love that. And I always love hearing uh the nuances in the words too. It's always a great reminder of there's just so much possibility. So
Yeah.
fun. Okay, let's move into the O, which is own your energy, right? This is about recognizing what fuels us and what drains us, owning the energy. So I love even a little bit ago, Terry, you saying, oh, I chose to not do them instead of saying the days that I don't do them. It's like, oh, but I did choose that. I love the accountability, the personal responsibility that you take in claiming that and choosing and knowing that that is a choice. But, not all movement is productive, is kind of the understanding, right? To create real momentum, you need to be aware of how your energy is being used, right? So, being able to know what is fueling your energy and what is draining you, it's about awareness. It's about being able to pinpoint, like, is this being used, like, or is it not? Is it okay to not use it? Like, being in that, awareness of that is so important. So a strategy that I have is, to do a quick energy audit at the end of the day, especially, and just ask yourself the questions of, like, what activities gave me energy today, right? Where did you receive energy? And then maybe what drained you? It could be that simple. And then even looking at how can I adjust, right? My schedule to spend more time doing those more energy giving things and in that zone more than the draining zone, right? I think there's definitely something to say about doing this audit when you see that you have more things listed that sucked energy from you today. This is where you have the power to really shift your energy and take accountability for your life. So owning that energy. What do
Yeah,
you think about that, Terry?
that's interesting. I feel like awareness is such an important part. To me, awareness is the beginning of all change, the beginning of all reflection, all, if you're not aware, you're not going to be willing to make changes. And so we're talking about, you know, being having momentum, which is changing your energy, right? From not,
Yeah.
not moving, not taking action to moving and taking action. So I think the awareness of your own replenishing your own energy is really important to be aware of, because there are certain things that replenish energy and certain things that suck it out of you, like you said. So understanding your energy, how you process and how you revive yourself is important. So for me, it's really important for me to have alone time in order to revive my energy.
Mm,
People suck it out of me. And so I need to be very aware of scheduling what I'm doing and taking accountability for my calendar.
mm,
Do I give myself time to replenish my energy? And I keep track of, lately I've been keeping track of what I eat and how
mm,
that affects my level of energy. So there's so many components in awareness when you're talking about an audit.
mm-hmm,
There are so many things we can do physically, mentally, emotionally, and socially that either replenish or suck up our energy. So, it's hard to audit all of those things at once.
mm-hmm,
But I think that's a really, really effective way of asking yourself, when I felt lethargic, what did I eat? And so
mm-hmm,
I'm looking at right now, I mean, other times it might be something else, but right now I'm keeping a food log. And I'm paying attention to my level of energy based upon what I eat, because it
mm.
doesn't fit the common, this is what you should eat and shouldn't eat. And so
Sure.
I'm looking at what is it that actually gives me energy and what is it that makes me lethargic, which I think of as a lack of energy, a lack of momentum, a lack of taking action, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that audit can go a lot of ways, but I believe
A
if you're
great point.
doing it in the present moment, it can be the most help of all. Am I taking action right now? Well, why? What am I feeling? Is it something I'm thinking? Is it something I'm saying? Is it something I'm eating? Is it a lack of sleep? Is it, what is it that's keeping me from momentum, keeping me from taking action? Yeah, so I think that's really important to own your energy, because at my age, a lot of people my age have no energy because they choose not to have energy. My intention is to always choose abundant energy. That's my code. That's my health code, that I will practice habits that give me abundant energy. I
Mm,
understand the part that energy plays in my capacity to be my best. So I think
mm,
that I like that, own your energy, but I just think it has so many levels to think about. But auditing, maybe for me right now, auditing my food, maybe another time I'd audit my sleep, or audit, the people I'm around, or what action I'm taking. How is my energy level? Because it fluctuates immensely. And I think that awareness, and asking yourself, what is it right now that's sucking up my energy, or what is it right now that's giving me energy? And owning those situations, so I can stop eating what makes me lethargic and eat more of what gives me energy. By keeping the
yes.
log, I know I've been doing it for months now, and I know really what it is. And so but I still make choices to eat things that are, don't give me the best
There's
energy.
that imperfection thing
Yeah, it
again.
is. And I don't beat myself up about it. Like
Yes.
yesterday, I had a milkshake. I know that I cannot drink a milkshake. It just affects my digestion in a really adverse way. But I
Yeah.
wanted one. I hadn't had one for 10 years. And I thought, oh my gosh, I really want this. Maybe it's better now. Well, it's same results. So it's, you know,
Now you know. Again.
yeah. But food
I
is an
love that.
important part of owning your
Yeah.
energy. If you don't eat, or you don't, you know, drink enough water, or, you can really affect the level of energy. And and we're talking about momentum, in order to have that momentum to take action. It's a really important component.
Yeah, I love that you bring the dynamic of, and I was right, I said activities, but you can easily just say what food gave me energy today? What food drained me? And yeah, putting in the specific kind of energy that you want to do an audit on. I love that you brought that up. That's so true. I was just thinking like one path, like action oriented
Yeah.
for momentum. So thank you for saying that, because I can see in my life right now with where I'm at and the things that I'm truly giving my energy to very intentionally, how the food is definitely one of them. The sleep is one of the, so there is so many dynamics to it that you can really use to benefit yourself in this idea, right, around mindful momentum and really cultivating that in your life.
Yeah. I mean, just getting up and walking my 3 miles every day, that
Hmm.
gives me so much more energy. And yet that's a choice I have to make every single day to have that momentum, so it's that mindset reset. My mindset is, I'm committed to doing that. If I don't, okay, let's reset and let's get back up and get going, to have that energy, because that's definitely an energy building activity.
Yeah, 100%. Thank you for sharing. I love that. Okay, let's move into the V. And the V I have for value those small wins, value small wins. And I talk about this so much. We talk about an OP because we do everything starting in celebration, but like in life, right? Celebrating progress versus the destination of where we're going in our goals, the things that we're looking toward, but really celebrating the progress in those moments, because momentum doesn't just come from one big action. It builds through those small, consistent steps. And right, one of the things that I do as a strategy is I do it daily, but you can do it even weekly, right? Reflecting on 3 wins, even keeping it simple. I use our daily focus sheet and our level up on purpose planner, which has a daily spots. And at the end of the day, it has a victory, a spot for you to write a victory, an improvement, and your plan for those things. But you can just even just write in a journal, what's reflecting on 3 wins for your whole week. I guarantee that you'll find those small wins throughout there. And maybe you reached out to someone for a new opportunity. Maybe you took um, a much needed rest to recharge, right? And maybe it was simply that you showed up and kept going on something that you committed to, that you didn't really feel 100% about doing it, and you showed up for it, right? Value those small wins because they're stacking the momentum it's building in this process. So, what do
Yeah.
you think, Terry?
Yeah, I mean, I call those acknowledgments and I write those every
Yes.
day. Even if I just have a thought that is going to move me forward, I write those down. And it is a practice that takes time to develop habitually because it's not our natural inclination to value our wins, to acknowledge the things that we've done. You know, even like yesterday, I made an appointment with the eye doctor to get my eyes checked. I wrote that down because I had
Hmm,
been putting it off, you know. And
right.
so any kind of an action that I take that's moving me forward towards my, you know, whether it's my health or my work or whatever it is, I acknowledge myself for that. And
Mm,
uh, so it's a little bit different from what we do in the journal, but
yep.
it
I
is
love it.
a momentum because I can go back and look at, wow, look at, I did this 2 weeks ago, I did this last week, and now look where I am, you know, because I'm taking those small steps towards taking care of myself, you know, of being, of having self-care of, and to me, that's the most important part of my momentum is keeping my mind, you know, my body, my soul alive and alert.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why I like this mindset reset idea because I love stuff that rhymes and does stuff like that too. So, you know, shifting, releasing, focusing, all those, that is all a part of acknowledging that I am taking those small steps. I am making
Mm,
progress. And sometimes, like you said, I acknowledge myself for doing nothing because I
mm,
needed that. I needed that time to reflect and just be. And so that I'll acknowledge myself for doing that. I acknowledge myself for asking for help because that's really difficult for me to do because I'm a recovering perfectionist and perfectionists don't need help. They're perfect,
mm.
right?
Yeah.
At least they want to be. And I'm much more at ease now asking for help. And I acknowledge myself every time I do that because that is a small step towards being vulnerable and open, you know, open-hearted. So yeah,
I love
valuing
I
those
love the
small things.
reminder of the acknowledgments, Terry, because I do those also. I do those
Uh-huh.
every day. I got back
Yeah.
into it again, and I wasn't thinking about the win, and so I do both. I mean, I do both of them. And one of the practical tips that I had noted on here for this episode was something that I didn't think that I really do yet, but I thought about it as something that I would love to do when I heard about a done list. And then you said that you acknowledge yourself for doing nothing. And I was like, that's true. I do that in my acknowledgments in a way also. But my other practical tip that I don't fully do myself, but is something that I see value in as well, is to make a done list instead of a to-do list.
Mm.
So
Oh, that's
writing down
good.
everything you've accomplished, even the small things, which is really what we're talking about, just framed in a different way, but really being able to see our progress, building confidence in us, and keeping that momentum going by recognizing, oh yeah, that made a difference. Maybe it was in your energy level. Maybe
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
in, the progress of the project that you're doing. But it really starts to help you see the progress, is what all of these ideas and these strategies can do, and these tips, right? The idea really is about being able to see your progress, and that
Yeah.
it matters to celebrate them. And there's such value in that, however you choose to recognize it.
Yeah, I do a to-do list. I think it could turn into, it's also a done list. Because I add to it at the if I did something I didn't have on my
That's
to-do,
true.
I write it down and check it off for sure.
That's true. That's true. That is true.
Uh,
I definitely find myself doing that as well.
yeah.
So, figuring out which one maybe in the day when I do that mindset reset, which one's going to serve me today.
Yeah, yeah.
I love that. All right, let's go to the E for our acronym, and that's engage with purpose. Engage. And this is really about taking those bold action steps from a place of clarity and alignment, which brings us back to that first part that we talked about. But really, that mindfulness without action leads to stagnation.
Hmm.
And the key to momentum is to engage in action, right? So moving forward with purpose instead of just reacting to life. We're looking at more of like a response, right? It's more curated, it's more thoughtful. So before jumping into the tasks for the day, the strategy would be to ask yourself, right? Does this align with your bigger vision? Is this something you truly want or just feel maybe obligated to do for someone else,
Yeah.
right? And the last one was like, what's the simplest next step that you can take to keep moving forward, especially on those challenging days or in those moments where it feels like you need a big leap to make something happen? Well, what's the simplest step that you can take to keep going versus quitting?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that this one makes me think of intentions.
Mhm.
Intentional living. Like in my gratitude and acknowledgement writing every day, I also write an intention, which is what I'm willing to engage in
Mm.
intentionally. So today I am willing to practice, and then I write down what I'm willing to practice today that will serve my momentum, my action. So what am I going to willingly choose to practice today that will put me into action? And so I just thinking, because I'm always trying to find the things that I teach people and the things that people say. So because they're all the synergy of all of it, it's just with different words.
Absolutely.
And so I think that being intentional is also engaging with purpose because your intention is clear, is specific, it's in the present, it empowers you. Those are the criteria for an intention, and it is action oriented. So I think I will reset and refine how I write my intention more around movement and momentum. Just tweak it a little bit, look at it again, resetting, because I always read my intention from the previous day when I write my new
Mm.
one. And these are specific intentions for the day. It's not like my overarching intention for my life. It's my daily intention so that I can be in action and move so that at the end of the day, I have made some progress in my growth, in my journey. I can acknowledge that, I can see the value in the small steps. So yeah,
Mm.
engage with purpose to me would then again be with intention. And again,
Yeah.
engage, purpose, and intention to me all could be synonyms, right? It's just a different way of
Yeah.
saying I'm intentional about what I do. I'm going to be in the present with myself, being accountable and owning my choices and my energy and where I am. And then that way movement is going to come, it's going to be part of it.
I love this. I have like this wrap up of exactly what you just brought together, literally, in its form in front of me for final thoughts about the Move with Purpose acronym and creating mindful momentum. Like what I want to remind us is like creating mindful momentum isn't about hustling harder. It is about exactly what Terry was just saying. It's about moving intentionally,
Yeah.
right? When you reset your mindset, own your energy, value the small wins, and engage with purpose, you naturally build momentum that lasts.
Yeah. Yeah. See, we're always on the same page, Carol.
I know. I appreciate it so much. Thank you for taking time to be here today. I appreciate your energy, your wisdom. Oh my goodness. I appreciate you so much. Thank you for
Oh, ditto.
sharing courageously always and being on the podcast with me today.
My pleasure. I will see you later.